Cheerful and outgoing, Mortimer brings his old country upbringing into the modern age. He has an unusual fondness for insects. Elegant and athletic are two qualities that describe Bella. She enjoys a variety of activities, from golf to miniature golf. Cassandra is the quiet, mysterious type. Nobody ever quite knows what she's thinking. What's up guys, Rakowski here. Welcome back to another Sims 3 video. If you couldn't tell by the thumbnail or the fact that I'm dressed like the Goth's gay cousin, today we're actually doing a mansion for the Goth family. Actually, I shouldn't say mansion, it's really only a simple 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom castle. But at the end of the day, it kind of looks like a mansion. A lot of the 3rd and 4th floors really are just kind of like for show. As you can see, I stuck this tower in the front of the house already. That's what's kind of inspired this whole build. So I bought this now and then Century Manor off of the Sims 3 store, and it has all these beautiful roof details. It has this tower, it has all sorts of things, and I thought this would be really great to use in a Goth build. It just screams, well, not the color, but it screams Goth, right? I just thought, well, I can color it black and then we can figure it out from there, right? So I was really struggling with the roof in this build. As you can see, I'm trying to use these midnight hollow things, like all these roof details, to try and make it a little bit more Gothic and Victorian. It wasn't working, but then I pulled out the roofing details that came with the tower and everything kind of came together. So the shell kind of stays the same throughout. Sometimes I have to do little changes and whatnot. I don't change a lot with the shell in this build. I just kind of keep it the same. I actually changed the colors a lot. I couldn't quite get my balance of red and black to be exactly how I wanted. So you'll see for a while it's actually not that beautiful. Another interesting thing about this is that you can actually stick a 3rd floor attic in between these roof pieces and it blends in seamlessly. So I was able to do that really easily. I was scared it was going to be a hassle and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to figure this all out. But as long as you don't put them on half tiles, you should be okay. I didn't have too much trouble with it, but I didn't actually use the 3rd floor in this build. It's absolutely functional. You could stick a set of stairs to the top, or you could even do a ladder and it would be like fully fine. Like it has floors and ceilings and everything, but I didn't put anything up there or make any access to it because the Goth family is still very small at this point. This Goth family is based off of the Sims 1 Goths. Now the Sims 1 is super vague and whimsical and weird because you're supposed to like impose your own thing. So basically, anyway, this is like a little bit of a side story, but the way that they do the faces and stuff is like a little bit choppy and blurry. And even though it is an old game, it was kind of on purpose. So that way you could imagine like yourself or people you knew or celebrities or whatever. And in fact, you could even like custom content a picture of your own face onto a sim in the Sims 1, but that's another story. So I was just trying to kind of go with the whimsicalness of it. Whimsicality, is that a word? I don't know. But anyway, they ended up kind of going with their biographies in the original Sims 1, and I kind of went with their personality points as well. It's similar to the Sims 2. You can put points in like sloppiness or neatness or like active or lazy and things like that. But if you can tell from the bios, these are kind of weird people. So they started off weird and I thought it was really nice. Speaking of weird, look at this ugly, ugly brick, but don't worry, we're changing it very, very, very soon because like I said, it's the Goth Mansion, so it has to be like mostly black. Of course, I wanted to use red to offset, especially because of Bella's gorgeous dress. If you can see her from here, she's okay. So this dress is from Katy Perry's Sweet Treats, and that pack is not for me, but I love this dress. So, and actually that was another thing that inspired me. Since I've gotten a few new items for The Sims 3, like that tower and like that dress, it just kind of all came together and I'm like, I'm making the OG Bella Goth, but the slit on this dress goes up really high up the leg, but the dress itself is a little bit longer, so I think it balances out quite a bit. So see, you can see here that I actually have the attic kind of slotted into the top there. The roof does not stay this red, don't worry. I love this bright red, but I felt it was a little too bright for the Goths. So if you can tell, I'm starting to kind of mellow it out a little bit, tone it down a little bit. I couldn't imagine something that bright. And since I have access to the color wheel, I wanted to do things that were a little bit more interesting. Another thing that came with this pack are these stairs. Love these stairs. By the way, if you can't tell, I cut out the floor plan from this speed build because floor plans take me forever. I did this floor plan maybe 4 or 5 times. I couldn't get it right. And honestly, I still think it's at about like a 7 out of 10. It was a little bit too small. I didn't want this house to be too big, but I should have made it a little bit bigger or chosen a slightly bigger lot. So these stairs are interesting because I wanted to make red stairs, obviously, but it really wasn't like, it was clipping weird. And actually my friend gave me a mod that actually is supposed to fix this, but it doesn't work and it glitched them out, so I couldn't use the mod. So I'm dealing with all this clipping with the stairs, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna make like the two on the side like a black wood, so that way the middle is just a carpet, and the clipping actually doesn't show as much when you have different colors for some reason. I'm not sure, but yeah. So the wallpaper, getting into this, so the black and red is going to be in most of the house. Now I do switch it up a little bit. You'll notice some blue popping in here and there. The blue does get toned down a little bit, but I needed an extra color. And if you notice, I also kept the windows white on the inside just to brighten it up a little bit, because you don't want the inside of your house to be too dark and dreary. You want to see what you're doing. You want to see like your furniture. You want to see your kitchen and stuff. By the way, the kitchen was the fastest thing, and like I forget what I did with the kitchen, but it only took me 3 minutes, so I guess we'll get to that soon. What took me a long time was figuring out the flooring though. So the flooring, I left some of this into the speed build so I could just show you kind of like my process. Now we kind of have a joke in my Discord. By the way, if you want into my Discord, I'll leave an invite link down below. We kind of share each other's builds and like kind of critique them and give suggestions like, help, what do I do with this dining room? And then we kind of help each other through it, right? Because sometimes you just can't make a decision. But one thing that we pointed out was texture on texture on texture. This is something that EA does, and it's too busy, and it doesn't matter how nice it looks or how fancy it is, it's too much. And if you can't tell, my wallpaper is extremely textured. So in the middle of this, I just thought, plain black wooden flooring. Actually, this even gets toned down. So this plain black flooring, this is too much even. So I changed it to something even simpler because the walls are so complicated. And I know the furniture is going to be nuts. One thing I like to do is kind of lay out my potential couches for the living room all together. So that way, especially when I have a bigger house, I can stick like sofas and love seats in like weird empty corners just to fill them up a bit. Like if you have an empty corner, put a lounge chair or a love seat and an end table and like a plant, and it fills it right up, and you just don't have to worry about it. And you don't have to worry about like sticking something that's super appropriate for the Sims, because like everyone needs somewhere to sit down, right? So I settled on a few of these couches. I delete most of them. I also like to repeat furniture in the house. So if I use like a love seat here, I might use it in someone's bedroom as well. Now I've heard this actually helps things run smoother because you just have like duplicates of the same item and the game doesn't have to load as much, but I don't think it makes that big of a difference, especially in The Sims 3. I think it makes more of a difference in The Sims 4 actually. Now the dining room, this was actually relatively quick too, because I found these chairs that kind of looked kind of like the vibe. They were a little metally. I didn't want them to be a dark wood because that's what the like floor is. This is the final wood floor, by the way. So I keep it just like this diagonal textured wood, and I put it in pretty much every room in the house. I think I put carpets in some of the bedrooms, but other than that, I think it's all pretty much the same wood. So finally the kitchen, I was inspired more by the Sims 4 Goth kitchen. Now one thing I played around with was I was gonna make like an exaggerated version of the original Sims 1 house, but it is so ugly, and I just thought I wanted to make something beautiful. I was in the mood to make something pretty, so I just didn't want to make something from the Sims 1. Sims 1 is not known for its beauty. It's fun, but like, no thank you. So I decided to go with the Sims 4 kind of vibe, where they have the old-fashioned stove and like the white counter, and like it's a little bit wraparoundy, but it's not super big. Like mansion-y kitchens are sometimes a little bit more elaborate. Actually, in an older house, they might even be smaller than this, because you wouldn't be in the kitchen, right? Your butler would be in the kitchen getting you food, right? That's what I think anyway. So the blue room here, this is gonna be like a little office space. I just needed an extra color, so I thought blue was an appropriate choice for a couple reasons. In The Sims 1, you'll notice that Cassandra has a blue skirt. I didn't make her room blue. I still stuck with purple, but at least there's like the presence of that, so I just kind of brought that into it. And in fact, Cassandra's bedroom in The Sims 1 is bright yellow and has no door. It's just like stairs up into her bedroom. So I was not interested in recreating a yellow bedroom for Cassandra Goth. I don't care what the OG is, she's having a purple bedroom in my game, but I still like to bring elements of that into it, you know what I mean? It just helps bring it all in together. Oh my god, speaking of Cassandra Goth's bathroom, so that was like one of the most exciting things I got to do. There's only 2 bathrooms in this, actually there's 3. No, there's 3 bathrooms. There's 4 bathrooms. I added bathrooms. I'm sorry. I completely forgot. So later on in the build, I add an entryway and like just like a half bath. So I turned the other half bath I had downstairs into a full bath because I figure that so Cassandra has an ensuite, and then Mortimer and Bella have their own ensuite, but that opens into the hallway so that way Alexander can use it. But he's not even born yet, so it's not super important. I believe he'll be born soon. Like that's kind of my plan. I actually already played a day in this house, kind of getting ready for the video, and I actually caught it on fire, so there might be a few things that like were burned by the fire, but we'll have to get over that when we do the tour, right? So as you can see, it's finally starting to come together. I actually don't keep the speed build going all the way through. I just kind of continue the speed build through like the furnishing and the main stuff. So like the couches, the kitchen, the tub, the shower, the sinks, things like that. But for all the decorations, the plants and paintings and things like that, even the changing of the lighting, I wanted to leave that for the build tour. So that way we would get like a fresh experience kind of going into the house. I don't like when I do the whole build and then I do the tour, because it's like I already showed all of this to you, so I want us to have something new when we kind of go through. So speaking of something new, I'm trying to make Cassandra Goth's bathroom beautiful but ugly, you know, like bright and colorful but not too much. And I was having trouble, and I kind of wanted white bathrooms originally in this house, just because since the house is so dark and bathrooms are like the urgent thing that you need, I wanted to be able to find them quickly. But I didn't end up going for super white bathrooms. I guess did I keep that blue and white checkered tile? I might have, I'm not sure. That also kind of reminds me of the Sims 4 Goth house, but they have a similar thing but with red, so I don't know. Anyway, so that bathroom is also blue. I figured I shouldn't have blue all over the house. I should just keep it in that one clump. And of course, Cassandra's room is purple, which is next to the blue. There's a spare bedroom. There's 3 bedrooms. I forgot I added a bedroom too. I'm so sorry. I forgot. I don't know. See, because I extended onto this house, but without making it bigger. I just decided instead of having these giant bedrooms, I just wanted to kind of break it up into more of a classic Victorian style, because a Victorian house wouldn't have a big bedroom. Maybe one would be big like the master, and I guess Bella and Mortimer's is all right, but I mean in general it's like you would just have these like little clumped bedrooms, right? I don't know, I just thought it made sense. Yeah, and Cassandra's bathroom tile is still white. It does not stay white. I think I changed it to purple. I don't remember what I did, but yeah, like I said before, this is for the OG Goth, so it's a little bit more whimsical. There's nothing really like specific lore related in this. I was gonna add some tombstones, but I figure that I just leave a little cemetery area in the back when I do the landscaping. I also don't show the landscaping in the speed build. I figured we would like walk into it, because I kind of did some hedges and played around with it, but I found some things that looked dead and they looked really appropriate with the Goth house, especially since like the shades of blacks and grays I chose for the outside, they really match the dead bushes. Yeah, and the beds, I had a lot of options too, because I don't buy a lot of stuff off the Sims 3 store, but if I do, it's usually Victorian related or kind of like, you know, at least historic. So I have a lot of options when it comes to that. When I do a modern mansion, I just don't have as many options. I just have to go with like the 2 or 3 modern beds that I have and just kind of go for it. But at least with this, and like if you notice, even like the sofas, there was a lot of sofas for me to choose from, and I didn't even end up using all of them. I actually have too many Victorian sofas where I'm not even going to use all of them. Okay, so now I remember. The remodeling came because I wanted the grand piano there. So you see the grand piano? That is what caused the entryway, the extra bathroom, the division of bedrooms. It was this chain reaction of building, and I cannot tell you how stressful it was. But the good news is that the stress is over, and all we have left to do is to tour the build. So let's jump inside, shall we? Well, welcome to the completed Goth house. I'm actually struggling to fit it all in the frame, but I don't want it to get too distorted either. And as I mentioned, this house is for the Goth family, and I've dressed them pretty much exactly or as close to as I could for the original Sims 1, but for the traits, I actually kind of did a combination. So I kept their original traits from the Sims 3, and I just kind of added in what I thought would make sense. So for Mortimer, he is a workaholic, a genius, grumpy, artistic, and ambitious. And for Bella, I have brave, good, hopeless romantic, light sleeper, and lucky. In hindsight, I'd probably change light sleeper for athletic just based on her Sims 1 bio, but instead I just gave her some muscles. And for Cassandra, she's neurotic, a genius, and family oriented. I kept the neurotic thing because it's like nobody quite knows what she's thinking, and I've always kind of thought that she was a little bit crazy in the Sims one. I always had her burning down the house on purpose, but then again, I was a kid. And as you enter through the spooky hedges, you just have to go up the porch stairs, and then you're greeted with these gorgeous double Victorian doors. And as you go through those, it's a beautiful entryway with a gorgeous view of the grand staircase, and this is where the little half bathroom is that I kind of tucked away at the end. To the right of the grand staircase, you'll find the grand piano next to the door to that beautiful blue office I told you about earlier. In first person, the blue on the walls is all right, but goodness, I could have toned down the blue a little bit for the chair, but a little too late now, I guess. Opposite the grand stairway, I actually put a bird cage. I could see the Goths having a bird or like a bat or something. I'm not really sure how the vampires work in this game. I'm not really a supernatural fan. And here we're seated in the gorgeous lounge with a view of the beautiful dining room. I just stuck a super expensive statue in the corner. Oh, fun fact, this was not a budget challenge, so I had to hit motherload maybe 3 or 4 times to complete this thing. I wasn't really trying to spend money, but you know, stuff happens. So I come into the kitchen here and it's beautiful. I use the Edwardian fridge. I think that works really well, which is great because I haven't really been able to use it believably in any build yet. And I gave them like the double old stoves, and I kept the floors like still with the wood. I just put down little mats underneath to kind of catch anything that might spill. And of course, Cassandra has her own easy bake oven. Now here's a door to the backyard. We may as well check this out now. I didn't put too much in here because again, I'm planning for it to be a cemetery, but I just kept it spooky with the grated fence and the trees. And if you look up to the balcony, there's like a second floor up there, and we'll get to that later. And between the back door and the piano, this is where that extra bathroom is that I thought Alexander might be using if he, you know, didn't want to use his parents' bathroom. And as we ascend the grand staircase, we are greeted with a red door and a purple door. I'll let you guess whose room is who. Let's go into the purple one. Of course, it's Cassandra's bedroom, and now she's still a child, but I kept it kind of adult and gothic because like I could see like 6-year-old Cassandra wanting this, but I gave her like a little teddy bear. Oh, and I actually gave her this dollhouse, and it's also from Katy Perry's Sweet Treats. So I try to use as much Katy Perry's Sweet Treats as possible, but sometimes it's hard. Now here's her bathroom. Oh my god, the tile is much worse in first person, but I had to go for it. I needed one big ugly room. It was something. The build was a little too generic for a Gothic mansion, and it just needed a little pop. You'll see from the second floor like perspective. And actually, you pass a couple portraits of Bella, and here's like a third floor. My goodness, look at that bay window. And here's like the spare bedroom. So it's like blue, like just in case it's gonna be Alexander's later, but they might not have Alexander. I just figured this is where I'd stick the skill building stuff. So they have a chess table, they have a computer, and opposite the spare bedroom is this red door, which leads into the ensuite bathroom. So this is also an option for them. So I left it with a bathtub and a shower here, and then this is like a double sink area, and then in here is like its own little toilet room. I love having these because sometimes you just want the poop in a different place. And last but not least is the master bedroom, where we can see it's beautiful and red and bold. I kept the purple lamps. I don't know how I feel about it. You can change them to black or white, I guess, but I kept the fireplace here, and this is the cause of the fire, so this is probably not a great idea. I'm not sure if it's because the floor is carpet or whatever, but anyway, so we go to the balcony here, and I have a telescope for Mortimer, and quite frankly an easel for Mortimer as well, because he was the one who ran up here and painted this. Now he's not doing too well because they don't really have skills yet, but I think he gave it his best shot. Well, that does it for my Sims 3 Goth house. What did you guys think? I was just in the mood for doing another Victorian build, and I kind of wanted to use some of the new items, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to do it. But what's your favorite kind of the Goths? I always like the Sims 1 Goths. The Sims 2 Goths is great, except they're missing Bella, but at least she's disappeared and it's fun. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a like and subscribe for some more Sims content. I'm playing The Sims 1, 2, and 3. I gave up on The Sims 4, but I've really been having fun celebrating the older games. And The Sims 3 is kind of my favorite to play at the moment, but I love The Sims 1 Goths. I just thought I would bring them in. Anyway, thanks again, and don't forget, Discord link is in the description. Boom.